Hey man, I think if you can do it and come back alive, fuck man, go for it.
I
But
figure you'd love the Artemis movie because it was practical effects.
like what
Hello,
what
internet.
gives?
What gives? So
Yeah.
I was telling Adrian before we started, just to let you all in on how the sausage is packed. Uh, I have analytics that I look at, and we don't get that many downloads. I'm not lying to anybody. I'm not gonna try to pretend that we get a lot. So I'm looking at the downloads on this is for audio only, by the way, too. So like YouTube, it's usually we get 7 to 10 views an episode, which isn't a lot. That's why it's a hobby. Whatever. Thank you for listening, you 10 beautiful people. And on,
One of them is your brother.
yes, one of them is my brother. So we have 9 people. I don't know who they are or what they're doing, but thank you. Uh, so we usually get about 120, in between 100 and 200 downloads a month for the audio version. Lowest was like 19, and the highest back in 2021 was 383, the way back. So like every time it spikes, I'm like, oh, somebody listened to it once, liked it, and they went and got the catalog. But then I was telling Adrian like a couple weeks ago, like so March was 120 downloads, and April so far is 1,115. And I made a joke with Adrian that we said some keywords and 4 FBI agents had to download the whole discography and listen to every episode.
Wouldn't be the FBI, or it might be. It would be any. I mean, a lot of different alphabet agencies would be involved, but also Palantir. And in
Mm.
Canada, well, we know that we're being monitored by the military, and
Oh, that's true.
so who knows? I did an interesting experiment with a friend at work.
Yeah.
He's a very, very interesting man who I love dearly. He's just a little bit older than me, which is to say old. Uh,
Yeah, but
and
your
he,
prostate's still good.
oh, my prostate's in pretty good shape, it seems
Yeah.
like.
Adrian's got a steady flow, ladies. At 59, steady flow. That's actually all you dudes out there, that's actually pretty impressive. It's more
Yeah.
impressive than lifting a lot of weight.
I find for me, a lot of my bathroom issues are psychological, right? Like
Yeah.
I can't use a urinal if I'm standing next to a man. But if I take shrooms,
I
I can. So,
was just about to make the worst joke ever, but I can't now that the CIA's listening. I was going to say you
yeah.
can't pee next to a man. How about little boys?
Oh, dude.
And I
Anyway,
said it out loud anyway. No
so
filter.
this guy
Sorry.
I work with, he's got the most fascinating history, and I'm not gonna name any names, but I'm just gonna I did this thing with him where I gestured for him to come over, and in silence I started to write down details of his life that I'm aware of. So we started with his childhood. He was raised in the Ottawa area by a family that was heavily involved in media and politics at the time. So this
Oh,
would be like the late 50s, early 60s.
Nepo baby?
He uh he went on to he's a bit of a deadhead, maybe a little bit of an insider with the Grateful Dead.
Ooh,
Has some
that's
dealings.
a red flag if I ever heard one.
Oh, here we go, right? He had some dealings in his time, some very significant dealings with a certain.
Oh, wait, just so everybody knows, what I mean by Grateful Dead being a red flag, I just want to say this for all those non-red pilled 1,000 listeners that are new to us that the Grateful Dead has wildly been accused of being the LSD or dealers for the CIA, giving it to like people around at their
They're
shows
pretty
and stuff.
spooked up. I don't think it's a wild accusation.
Allegedly spooked up, Adrian. We have a
They're
1,000 listeners right now to worry about.
yeah, the fucking 900 of them are actually spooks.
Yeah.
This guy was involved with a certain gang that was known to be involved in the narcotics trade. I'll just say
The
the
Grateful Dead.
1%. Let's just say the 1%. He was a procurer for a certain Saturday Night Live, one of the early stars of that program. Who's anyway, he did some work for him. Work. He was involved in dealing crack in the 80s when he lived in the Bay Area. So anyway, I'm writing all of these things down, and I'm just putting little arrows next to them, and I've got like CIA, 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 CIA. Anyway, he's looking at this and he looks at me. He neither confirmed nor denied any of it.
Hmm.
That's all.
That's the whole experiment. I was like, when
It was
does
an
this lead
experiment.
to? Well, you said
I
I did
just
this experiment with this
we're
guy.
I was just talking to him, but yeah. So
That's
that is weird about all those downloads, and I mean, I think the program's gotten certainly less careful in the last few months.
yeah. So, like they say in the industry, that a non-denial is a confirmation. So,
I'm afraid so.
yeah. Oh, one thing I was thinking about is, do you think that when the AI listens to our podcast, that we get listener counts?
Yeah, that's a great question. I
That
mean,
would be
why
dope.
would I don't think so because why would you want to show your hand like that? But then the question is, are the numbers being artificially inflated? And if so,
Yeah.
why?
I
Who gives a
honestly,
shit?
I think it's like a bug or something because I looked at what all the downloads were and they're from the a desktop browser. So that doesn't make any sense. Like it's not off Spotify, it's not
Well,
through Apple
you
Music.
could just spoof all that too. Like we don't know what we're looking at.
Well, that's true.
Wait, I
Yeah.
know I'm or yeah, I don't know what you're looking at,
I'm
and
looking
I
at
hope you don't know what I'm
Transistor.
looking at.
Transistor is the site that hosts us. They
Right.
have been for years and years. Yeah, so I don't know. And it like gives you a breakdown of which like program people use to listen, like even OS and where around the world it is and stuff. And it's
Hmm.
like it's like halfway a really cool thing to nerd out on, but another kind of like depressing because we usually only get 100 downloads a month, but that's still 100 people listen to us a month. So
That's crazy that they would do that.
yeah, I know. And it's like it's funny because you could tell, like whenever you look at these, you could tell that some people have VPN because there's been 595 downloads from Vietnam, and you're like, nobody from Vietnam is listening to this.
You think not?
No, I do
We've
not
mentioned
think.
Vietnam recently. We talked about how what was it, 80 million people were debanked in Vietnam a few
Oh,
months ago.
maybe they were debanked and they replaced it with our podcast. Or
Sure.
yeah, like
Maybe.
Ethiopia has listens, Kenya,
They're just
Tanzania.
looking for any signal at all that the West is paying attention.
Oh, I wonder if I can zoom in. I want to see how many people in Iran are listening to us. Zero. God damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, since I just found out where Iran is on a map, one thing this has nothing to do with anything, but one thing that really fucking irks my gurk, that just like grinds my gears, is when people are like complaining or talking about why somebody shouldn't be talking about world events, and they're like, you can't even find it on a map. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I can't find anything on a map, and I have opinions about everything.
Well, notwithstanding that the map gets changed on the daily.
Oh yeah.
You look at a map from yesterday, if you can even find one, it's going to be different from any map being produced today. I mean, it has constant. Also, that's not true. What I just said, it's not true.
It can be. It will be once fucking Israel's done in Lebanon. It'll be a
The
different
map, yeah, the
map.
map, in a real sense, yes, the map is being changed. I keep saying that every 2 weeks you make me do this, and I every 2 weeks I go, the map is being
Hmm.
redrawn.
Yeah, how has the Greater Israel project been fulfilled yet? Is that map done? No. So we're
Not
still at
yet.
war.
It's coming along.
Hmm.
But I was hoping we could talk about a couple of things that have happened. Well, I went to see this Project Hail Mary movie.
Oh, is it good?
It's very enjoyable, and I
Wait,
do
it's
like.
by the same guy who did what other movie?
Well, it's by was it Lord and Millard? So they did the Spider-Verse movies. They did the Lego movie.
Oh no, I mean the source material that it's based on.
Right, Andy Weir.
What
Is
up?
he? I think he's the Martian guy.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I
But
watched The Martian. It was the most un-sci-fi sci-fi I've seen in a while.
well, it's what would you call that? Hard sci-fi?
No,
They're
that's
telling you how you would actually do it.
no,
How
because
you would actually
that's
get off Mars if you could get onto Mars, but you can't get on Mars. Like
like
we're
to
never
me,
going to Mars.
hard sci-fi would be robots and stuff. That's just like fucking. homework sci-fi where it's like this is what actually it'd be like if Neil deGrasse Tyson made a movie, it'd be the most boring movie ever because it'd be all true to physics and stuff. And you're like, they'd be like, yeah, there's no faster than light travel. You can't do this. You can't do this. And it's basically now just orange. And
I
that's what
can't
Mars
think
is.
I think Neil deGrasse Tyson is got to be among the very worst puppets that has ever been foisted upon us. He's just wretched. He's so bad. He's incapable of debate for one thing. So like I
Hmm.
mean he's obviously compromised to the fucking tits.
Yeah.
So who knows what they've got on him? But Jesus Christ, he's bad. He is bad. But yeah, if
Well,
you, I'd love to see a movie made by Neil deGrasse Tyson because I love wretched cinema. You know how much I love a bad movie. Project Hail Mary, I wouldn't say it's a bad movie. I mean, it's very well made. I love that it's all practical effects and Ryan Gosling is very entertaining. But anyway, it is. Speaking of spooked up, you
I
know,
hate practical effects.
any movie you hate practical effects, fuck, you're weird.
Yeah, no,
Any
it's just like,
movie.
oh, look, a puppet. Cool. You couldn't just fucking CGI whip up a dope looking monster. I hate bad CGI, but I
That's the
love
point.
good CGI.
You could just whip it up.
Yeah.
Anybody could just whip it up.
So like my eyes don't know the difference. Well, they do. They can
Yeah,
tell
they
it's a
do.
puppet. Like I don't want to watch some fucking Jim Henson sci-fi movie monsters. Like I don't want to watch Dark Crystal again. I want to watch stuff where stuff's like cool and fucking crazy looking.
Well, you're gonna hate this movie because it's actually, handmade by very, very talented people who poured who poured an ungodly amount of skill and effort into this project instead
So
of just sitting at a fucking laptop. But anyway,
practical effects are good for like small screen and like old movies that they shot on film. Like I went and saw one of my favorite movies of all time, the re-released into the theater, Aliens, and like it showed one of the far away shots of the ship that I fucking loved when I was a kid. I was like, "Oh, cool. Now I know it's a model in front of a painting. Sweet." It
yeah,
just
you ever
practical
see,
effects for me ruin the suspension of disbelief. That's what it is. Because you could tell it's like
I don't
something
even
made
I
from stuff
don't
we
even know where
have.
to start with you sometimes. It's fascinating. Did you like the remember the black hole? The Disney's The Black
Oh my
Hole?
God, the one with the fucking Henry vacuum cleaners with the face on them.
Yeah, so that's where the black hole is like remarkably bad. But there's things about the black hole that are fucking amazing. And
Yeah.
like the
Is it
ship,
when they float?
the matte paintings are just spectacular and some of the effects are really,
Mm,
really. But anyway, I get off topic. Project Hail Mary, a couple of people, a couple of ladies were in the bar last night and they're like, hey, Adrian, what did you think of the movie? Because they saw me at the theater.
hmm.
And I said, I enjoyed it well enough. What did you guys think? Because this is what I do. I turn it back on people and then
Yeah.
they think I'm interested in what they have to say. It's a method that I have.
You
And
do that to me,
so,
don't
so I
you?
let them fucking yammer on about it for 5, 10 minutes
Yeah, they're just the
while
Charlie Brown
my
adults. They're like,
mind drifted. And
womp
then,
womp 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 womp
yeah.
womp womp womp.
And then finally it was my turn. And I said, yeah, I enjoyed it well enough. However, any film that is so heavily endorsed by NASA makes my skin crawl. And one of the ladies, I'm going to say the
Just
smarter
can't
of the
help
two,
yourself.
it's like it's like she came alive. She's like, I know, right?
Oh wow. That's nice. How old was she?
I don't know, maybe early 40s, mid 40s.
Hmm. Red pilled maybe.
Yeah, more and more people are. But
I'm not
so it comes
for
out. This
sexual
movie gets
interest. I'm
released around this
for
around
conspiracy
this.
interest.
It comes out around the same time that the whole Artemis thing happens. That was very entertaining.
Yeah.
But and I'm not, I'm agnostic. Maybe they slingshot it around the moon in that tiny capsule. Maybe.
I
Maybe they
mean,
did.
to me, cool. You know math.
Hey man,
Sweet.
I think if you can do it and come back alive, fuck man, go for it.
I
But
figure you'd love the Artemis movie because it was practical effects.
I do. I will always applaud a judicious use of green screen.
Yeah,
Yes.
they didn't have to paint the moon. They just went and looked at it for us.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't. I like the iPhone video of the Earthrise. That was That's pretty impressive. But yeah, all the business when they get back, I'm always reminded of the press conference with the three Apollo astronauts who just seem uh, uh, frightened, depressed, and guilty.
Yeah, shell shocked. They're like, we just
Sure.
watched. They're like, they look like they were like in World War II. They're like, we just watched all of our friends die. And you're like, you just went to the moon and back. How are you not pumped?
I want to know why NASA. So if you actually trace the history of the moon landing hoax theories,
Mhm.
there are a couple of or a handful of people. Now, who was the guy that wrote Dark Mission? Richard Hoagland. He was, maybe a questionable character in some ways, but he was there, and he's among the people who claims that NASA was actually behind, uh, like started the rumor that they faked the moon landing. So
Oh
so
yeah.
if that's the case, and I can kind of get my head around that. The question becomes why, and it does indeed seem that NASA has been involved in sort of toying with public perception for a long time. And to give you an example, the great 1970s conspiracy thriller Capricorn One had the
Hmm.
full endorsement and cooperation of NASA. Well, what's the theme of that film? The theme is they they fake. It's a great movie. It's on Tubi. They they send three astronauts to Mars. It's the first manned mission to Mars. And just as they're about to take off, oh, what happens? Oh, they get pulled out of the capsule and taken to a TV studio and told, "You're not going to Mars. We can't go to Mars. We're faking it. You have no choice. You're involved. Here we go. Okay, lights, camera, action." So they start faking the Mars mission in some TV studio, while meanwhile the rocket blows up on the launch pad. So now we've got a problem, don't we?
Yeah.
The three astronauts, one of whom is played by a certain Mr. O.J. Simpson.
Oh.
They, yeah, O.J. Simpson, Sam Waterston, and what's the guy that's married to Barbara Streisand? Brolin. Lantern jawed James Brolin. Josh's dad.
Oh. I
So
did not
anyway,
know that.
they know that they're gonna fucking NASA's gonna kill us because they
Yeah.
would. That's what they'll do. They have to kill us now, so they
Yeah.
escape, and then it becomes a chase movie featuring Telly Savalas and Elliot Gould.
Nice.
But
So
so
quickly,
why is NASA fucking with it? Like, why
can
are
I give you a
they?
theory? Can I give you a
Yeah,
theory?
yeah, yeah.
So I think that anytime you have a situation like NASA that's funded by Werner, like opened and started by Werner von Braun, who's attached to the Nazis, who have gigantic occult shit, whether they did magical stuff or not, or demonic stuff or not, they kind of want to keep it secret. So if you have NASA and they're going to space to fucking probably try to open port, I'm just like going wild conspiracy here. Like they're trying to open portals to the demon realm, say that's what NASA's trying to do. So like imagine if they like find stargates and that's what the war in the Middle East is all about, like all the crazy shit you hear about. Imagine that's all true. And then they send people to the moon to see if they could get like the fucking obelisk from 2001, or there's a portal up there that they want to find, and they don't want anybody tracing their steps, so they make it look like that they're imbeciles lying about their own skills and what they can do. So if you hear that NASA can't even send people to the moon and that it's all fake and that it was filmed on a soundstage and there's a reason why there's no film of it, and they had to like and they like make it look ridiculous, like they talk in real time to the phone on the phone to the president, and then you get a whisper that they're doing like weird occult demon shit in space. You're like, well, they can't even send people to the moon. So that's obviously not true. So it's like if they're doing nefarious, like high tech shit, like with aliens and shit that they don't want us to know about. And if we, as a people, enough of us don't believe they're capable of even like going to space, then nobody's going to believe that they're capable of doing like weird sci fi shit. That's my theory.
Yeah, yeah, okay. I'm not. It's solid, sure. I mean, at minimum, like I would say it's it's all designed to it's all distraction.
That's true.
Uh, yeah, because I mean, at minimum, sure, we sent guys to the moon, maybe,
Mhm.
but what were they doing up there?
What's when was they trying to get the H3 stuff? Fuck, I can't remember. There's something about H3. It's like helium 3 or something that like only exists on the moon because of the vacuum of space. Fuck. Here, let me Google this.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
So
What the
it
fuck?
sounds less like I don't know what I'm talking about, and more like if I give you the name H3. Oh fuck. H3 is some restaurant thing. Don't you hate when you fucking go to Google something and they set up a fake dumb shit so it's like you can't find the real one?
Yeah, I think I
Helium
do hate
3.
that.
Helium 3 is a light stable isotope of helium with two protons and one neutron. Helium 3 and hydrogen 1 are the only stable nuclides with more protons than neutrons. It was discovered in 1939. Helium 3 atoms are fermionic and become a superfluid at the temperature of 2.491 MK. Helium 3 occurs as. Oh, did you
Yeah,
lose me for a sec?
sure
Am
did.
I too close to the truth? Where did you lose me?
H3 is a helium thing with a three and a thing.
Okay,
Helium.
so basically, for since I don't want to try to explain it in layman's terms, slash, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about really, but a helium 3 is like this thing that's super good for like cold fusion or some weird
Oh,
science shit that they want, and they wanted to get it off the moon. So maybe one of the reasons they went to the moon in the set 60 whatever when they did the moon landing was to go see if they could find stable H3 and bring it back.
so what's the deal with these? Is it 11 now? Nuclear and anti-grav scientists that have been disappeared or unalived, as
It
the
might be
kids now
12.
say. Is it
Was
12
it
now?
11 when the girl died or when the dude
I
died?
think it was 11 when Amy Erskine, well, let's not say the name. First of all, because I can't remember it. Secondly, because do
Well,
we really need to attract any more attention?
My Zoom just shit stopped and restarted itself. So I don't know how much of this stuff we can actually talk about. Maybe those 1,000 fucking CIA agents were like, whoa, 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 watching me and hey, CIA guys.
Somebody posted a presentation she did fairly recently about the technology that she was engaged in researching,
What are they?
and it's
Physics scientists?
about the dangers specifically around it, and how, of course, it immediately gets it disappears into black operations, into the black world.
Dun dun
Um,
dun.
so you
Yeah,
know,
11.
where there's smoke,
Uh
it's
11th
very
scientist dies.
very weird and frightening.
Here's a weird one. If it's so hush hush, like why is Fox News reporting on why the 11th scientist died? Dun dun
Okay, good
dun dun.
question.
That means they want us to know.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
God, it's so exhausting being a conspiracy theorist
God, just stop
or in
saying. Can we?
conspiracy enthusiast.
You're a parapolitical thinker.
But I don't know what that
Enough of the
means.
conspiracy theory. There's no that's horseshit. That's a term that is meant to
Okay, yeah, to
smear
disevaluate the JFK
whatever.
investigations because the CIA came up with the term serious conspiracy theorist when they were trying to cover up the CIA thing to
So yeah,
make
so
everybody sound ridiculous.
you can keep giving aid and succor to the enemy, or you can use a better term
But
like
nobody knows what
parapolitical enthusiast.
nobody
But
knows what
you
that
know,
means.
this inevitably leads to questions about the Challenger disaster,
Oh
because
fuck, don't bring that one up.
that one's like that one has bent my that has broken my brain, and
That's a touchy subject.
I'm pledging. I'm not pledging. I'm urging, begging, in fact, anyone. I'm very, I'm not happy to be proven an idiot, but I can accept it, right? If show tell me what's going on with that thing, because they're still alive.
Oh yeah.
That's the
When they
fucking weirdest rabbit hole ever.
Did you see that video? So there's a video of a guy and he's going to some random town hall and he
Yeah,
goes and he gives a
he brings
like
it up.
he brings it up and he has like a billboard and he gives like a whole presentation on how the Columbia disaster like people are still alive, what they look like then and how he found people who look like them now living in different areas of the country. And the
Yeah,
people are just like, the fuck, this has nothing to do with this town hall. And he's like,
yeah. No,
thank
it
you.
was
I just
great,
wanted it recorded.
dude. It reminds me of the time it was be like 2004, 2005, and I was doing writing for a free hippie magazine in not hippie, like new age magazine in Vancouver called Shared Vision. Remember that? And for some reason I had to, yeah. No one remembers it. But I had to. They got me to interview some guy at Vancouver, like a counselor at Vancouver City Hall,
Yeah.
and he was an angry bearded man. I guess they felt that he had some sort of, I don't know, progressive bona fides that they wanted me to talk about. I don't remember, but I got through the interview, which was painful, and asked the right questions. And then at the end, just for the fuck of it, I was like, "Hey, and anyway, so and what's the deal with chemtrails?"
Oh
And
God.
yeah, I threw it in there, and he actually gave me a serious answer. I mean, he didn't break character at all. He just came out with his answer and mentioned something about commercial jets fitted with special aerosol dispensers, and that's all it is, and something. And I was like really taken aback that I was expecting him to go what, but he didn't.
Yeah.
He just continued with his spiel, and it reminds me of that guy going. But again, so he goes in there and says this because, you know, those people appear to be alive.
Yeah.
And I
Crazy.
watched it live. I remember I was, I'd be like 18, 19 years old. And I remember I went to work afterwards and somebody at work said, I worked at McDonald's, by the way. And somebody said, did you see that? And I went, yeah, I did see that. And I remember describing it to him as almost pornographic. And he was like, yeah, it was almost pornographic. Because I remember I was quite shocked. Because if you were there, what they did is they focused on the parents of Christy McAuliffe. Was that her name? The teacher.
Yeah.
So you watch the thing blow up, and then you just watch these like two old people, sort of realize in real time that their kid has just died right before their eyes, and it
Yeah.
was horrible.
Just
So
watching people die inside, that's terrible.
if for those of us that were there, I tell you, it did actually traumatize an entire generation. Like it was a really big deal.
Hmm.
So
I think that's the point.
if we're entering the realm of, like mass trauma-based mind control, well, that was an event that needs to be examined. But not anyway. Meanwhile, here we are, many many decades later, and all of these astronauts are out there. Judith Resnick's out there. Can't remember the other names, but they're all out there. Then one of them was confronted, said, hey, you're this guy," and he goes, no, no, that's just someone who looks like me, and you'll need to talk to the FBI about this." And he rushes off.
Yeah, some random dude like,
Somebody prove
hey,
to me, please show me that this is just a really, really the most brilliant and elaborate long hoax ever. Please.
hey, let me tell you something, Adrian. If somebody comes up to me and they're like, is this you? And you'd be like, that's some guy who looks like me. Call the FBI. I wouldn't have that like in the chamber ready to go that
I
you have to
know.
call the FBI. That's fucking weird.
Another guy is like, he's like, no, no, that's my twin brother, but he doesn't have a twin brother.
Oh, weird.
It's messed up.
That's
Tell
like
me,
when that's like when somebody does something bad and they're like, that was my evil twin brother, and it's like them with a goatee.
it's exactly like that. I want to know that this is just a really, really brilliant prank that, with Tim Heidecker behind it or something, like what the fuck is going on?
Oh, speaking of Tim Heidecker, is that the Tim
Well,
and Eric guy?
speaking of Tim Heidecker,
Guess who's
Heidecker.
the guess who's the new guy in charge of InfoWars?
Yeah. So Tim Heidecker, speaking of spooked up.
Yeah. Obviously, if they take it
So
from Alex Jones and give it to him to control, there's
can I tell
something
you what?
nefarious.
Never found him funny. And always thought there was something a little off about him. Even when I thought, Tim and Eric was the thing, and I was like, okay, I get it. It's anti-humor or whatever. And I like, I normally I would like that kind of thing. I never liked that guy. And I do have I think a good sixth sense with this stuff, where
He has a bad aura.
he's got a bad aura. Like Mike Myers is another one. Bad aura.
Oh yeah.
Very bad. And never funny. It ruins the comedy for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, bad aura. Well, you put it that you nailed it. What is with him?
I don't know. It's like
He seems nasty.
I never watched Tim and Eric because I didn't have cable at the time because I was poor when it was out. But I did really like the fucking music video they made with the girls with gigantic acids for Bubble Butt. Can't remember
I
what it was.
didn't
But
see that.
anyways, he
I
was on Master of None, the Aziz Ansari show. He was like he played the role of one of his best friends. And like you could just see on the screen, you're like, there's something off about this guy. And it's funny
he was
because
in,
I was
Flying
just
Lotus. Flying Lotus, the
I don't watch
musical
that. It
artist.
looks like a homework
No, no, no.
show.
He's a Flying Lotus is a guy. He's a musical artist. He's like
Oh,
he's the nephew of Alice Coltrane or something.
yeah,
But anyway, he's
I
got
thought
very
you were talking about that Lotus Hotel one or whatever that's called.
talented fellow. He made a film a few years ago called Kuzo, which was, at the time was billed as the most offensive film ever made. And it was up there. It was pretty nasty.
What was it
Uh,
about?
oh fuck, who cares? I can't remember. It was just it was very, very, very ardently weird. It was trying to be weird and disturbing, and it was. It actually worked. Anyway, Tim Heidecker was in that, playing a guy whose head pops out of a toilet and he's covered in boils and stuff, and he likes watching girls shit or something. I can't. It's something like that.
Like
But
Skibbity toilet guy?
yeah,
Skibidi
that would
toilet?
come later. That would
Was
come
that
later.
after that? Skibbity toilet was after
Kuso
this?
was first. I think it was one
Oh,
of the first films that was financed and made for Shudder.
is that still around?
Yeah, yeah. My
Hmm,
friend just directed a thing for Shudder. Her first narrative feature. Well, it's a short, but
nice.
anyway, good for her, I say. Very talented lady.
Hmm. So yeah, I just wanted to bring up the InfoWars thing because it's funny because like I saw like after 17 months ago, in InfoWars went up for sale and the Onion bought it for a very low price. And then it was going through and it was given to the guy, the Onion, and then some judge stepped in. You're like, no, this isn't legal. You can't do this. This is all like fucking malpractice and all this shit. And you're like, oh, okay. I guess they're saving Alex Jones for whatever reason. And then Alex Jones is like a huge friend of Trump and all this stuff. And then a couple weeks ago, Alex Jones starts saying that they should impeach Trump and they should get rid of him. And then all of a sudden, InfoWars is magically just given to fucking The Onion without warning. They're like, oh, yeah, remember that court case that got thrown out by one judge? This other judge says it's okay and now it's done. And you're like, what? And then The Onion was like, we're going to make it all like gay and make fun of everything because they made it like a pride flag on the Onion. They're like, so it's funny because they're admitting that making it a pride flag is insulting. So you figure the left, who's this is all like for, you figure they would be like, hey, you can't use this as an insult. And basically,
Those guys don't have rules. They're not consistent in their
yeah,
thinking. There's no group on earth that's more intellectually dishonest than the current crop of progressives we have out there.
yeah.
And you just got to look. I know that we've had our disagreements over this. You're wrong, but how did the counter protest when the trucker convoy went through Vancouver? How did the progressives counter protest by calling them fags?
Yeah.
That's what they did.
Hmm.
That's your progressive brain right there.
Yeah, because they like all of the bullshit that they did, all those years that they're like, you can't do this, you can't say this is gay. And then as soon as they don't like something, they're like, that's gay. And you're like, the
They
fuck,
suck.
guys?
They're the worst.
Yeah.
Well, that also comes around to another thing that happened this week was that the Twitter user known as Howling Mutant was doxxed by a bunch of I never use leftists because they're not leftists, a bunch of progressives, I guess, in New York, and they've been
Hmm.
going after him for a while because Howling Mutant, if you're not familiar with the account, is wickedly funny.
So they hate
It's
it from there.
is well, yeah, because his jokes are fucking in serious bad taste. They accuse him of racism and all the other phobias, all of them.
Hmm.
I don't think it's true at all. I think that in this current climate, you're going to have people who just want to make jokes like that because otherwise the world is far too fucking suffocating.
That's a
And
good way to say it.
he did. He's now because he got doxxed, and his face was plastered everywhere. Is the fucking his front door of his apartment in New York, his job. Like we all know everything about Howling Mutant now, and he's actually handled it with incredible grace, all
Yeah.
things considered. And it turns out he's just like a fucking normal dude, as is often the case that somebody who seems quite likable. You go for beer with him. But he has a very, very dark and vicious sense of humor, and he's very, very funny. And he is avowedly hates progressives because they're so nasty, they're so censorious, they're so fucking punitive, and they're so dishonest. They are so dishonest, and they
Yeah.
move in packs. And you know what? Worst of all, they're not funny. They're never funny people. They're just mean.
That reminds me of something else that just came out in the news. See, we're being
What?
topical in Outrage Factory. The Southern Poverty Law
Oh
Center,
yeah, which have been
SPLC.
has been sending money to the Canadian Anti-Hate Network, which has been
And
a
and they
yep.
save money. They're well, the reason this comes up is they're being like federally investigated by one of the only good things Trump has done is his FBI. I don't know how they did anything good with Kash Patel at their head. The guy's just a fucking drunk idiot. But anyway, so they find out, and well, they probably already always knew. Speaking of fucking Alex Jones, he knew in 2017 that the Southern Law, what is it, the Southern Poverty Law Center?
Southern SPLC, Southern Poverty Law Center.
Yeah, they had been giving money to get this. Remember the Unite the Right, fucking, what was that? Protest in, where was that? Fuck. I
Couldn't
can
tell
never
you.
remember. Anyways, it was the guys with the polos and the tiki torches.
Yeah,
The Southern Poverty Law Center gave money to the people who organized that protest and the counter protesters and stuff.
yeah.
So they found that out.
So everything is theater out there,
And
like
like
everything.
there you go. Progressives are evil. It's like one of the problems with progressives is you're fighting racism, which is a valiant fight. Racism is bad. Nobody should be stopped from getting a job or living their best life just because of the color of their skin. But the problem is in 2010, racism was like kind of almost gone and nobody was
That's the
actively
thing.
doing it.
It
And then the
was,
people who were like given money to fight racism, instead of being like, well, job well done, I'll go get a different job. They were like, let's just make racism and then we can fight that. That's basically it. And it's like in like one of those things. It's like if there's no homeless, how do you get paid money to help the homeless type
dude.
of
It's just
deal?
no, exactly. It's just another industry, and you
Yeah.
know, it's a you see the term used in Vancouver a lot. The what is it? The poverty industrial complex or whatever.
Yeah.
It, you know, I think there are legitimate questions to be asked about how this dialectic works in the modern world, especially now where like nothing is real and nothing is honest. You
Hmm.
know, show me an institution or any sort of governing body that you have any trust in, including you know these nonprofits and NGOs. And I'm sure there are good people too working inside these things, but they're it's like it's self-organizing this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Is it why would anybody be surprised that the SOPC was financing the Ku Klux Klan? That's a classic dialectic. It's been going on
Yeah.
forever.
And the
And
problem
as for the
is,
Canadian Anti-Hate Network, they are in the business of manufacturing bad guys. That's all they fucking do.
yeah.
And they will accuse anyone of anything as long as it keeps the fucking money flowing. And also there's a political purpose to it too, obviously. They were very busy, again, to bring up the truckers. They were busy during the convoy fabricating racist outrage everywhere. Where did that fucking swastika come from? Nobody seems to know.
Oh
But
yeah, that's like in the States when you hear some fucking rabbi's door had a swastika spray painted on it, and he was the guy who did it. They find out, and you're like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah. Somebody has a
okay.
picture of him with the can,
Yeah.
you know, little curls. I know. It's
What was I gonna
wild.
say? Fuck. Oh well, it's gone. It's gone forever. Um, yeah. Shit.
I work for an organization that at least my branch of it is sincere and does good, honest work. There's very little corruption in my little bar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Your little neck of the woods. Oh,
my legion.
the only other thing I wanted to bring up that we make sure we talk about is everybody hates Joe Rogan apparently, even when he does good things and like gets Trump to do good things. So
Yeah.
if you've been hearing the bullshit about Joe Rogan and Trump legalizing psychedelics and how it's going to melt our kids' brains and how it's going to let the fucking Grateful Dead give kids acid easier. What happened was, if you've listened to Joe Rogan for, I was thinking about this today. I've been listening, or not today, but the other day. I've been listening to the Joe Rogan podcast for 16 years, off and on.
Right.
Like
Huh.
two, it was like the second podcast I ever listened to in 2010. And the other one was the fucking Adam Carolla podcast, which is where I heard Joe Rogan talking. I was like, oh, Joe Rogan has a podcast. I know that guy
Interesting.
from Fear Factor. And I started listening to it, and it was like, it was wild because back then, nobody was like talking about bro shit and spiritual shit at the same time. Like you could
Mm.
find either or, but like the manosphere wasn't like bridging the gap of talking to your friends about feelings and stuff like Joe Rogan was. Like he's gone more manly since then, but back in the day, he was wild. So, anyways, he's always had this thing with ibogaine because he found out from one of like the people they had on his show, one of the alternative health treaters or providers, that if you give people who are have severe addictions ibogaine, they like I think he said the number was the 80% get over it and not be addicted to it, and then if they to take two doses, 90% of the people are over it. And ibogaine, I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it's considered a psychedelic.
Yeah.
So Joe, if you listen to Pierre Polyev on Joe Rogan, Joe Rogan tried to pitch this to PP to like do in Canada, like, hey, maybe you guys should fucking do this so you can deal with the fentanyl problem and all that stuff. And then, but like Polyev was whatever, pretending he didn't know what fucking weird the stuff was.
Well,
Like
that
Polyev was
assumes
like, I
that
don't know what
assumes that we want to
glyphosate is.
actually deal with the problem. We
Yeah.
don't.
So Joe Rogan, since he knows RFK Jr. really good, and he knows like Tulsi Gabbard, and he's kind of like an insider with Trump, just by the coalition that Trump built because he's had these people on his podcast multiple times. He's even had Trump on there. So he texts Trump about ibogaine, and then Trump asks fucking RFK Jr., who's his health czar, whatever it is, and it's like, is this true? Like, can ibogaine get you off like opioids and shit? Because the state's like, even though it's not as bad as when the Sackler family was trying to kill the southeast of the entire country by getting them addicted to opioids, and fentanyl is considered an opioid and stuff. So Trump like gets his guys to look into it, and they're like, "Yeah, it's legit. Ibogaine can cure this." And then Trump's like, "Why don't we fucking maybe get it so people can get this?" So in order to get it so that they can get ibogaine, they have to take psychedelics down, ratchet it down on the illegal scale because
Yeah,
it's at the tippy top of the charts. It's
yeah,
like a
yeah.
Schedule 1, so it's the most illegal. So Joe Rogan goes to the White House and he's standing behind Trump. You've all seen that video, and then everybody's like, "Why is Joe Rogan with Trump?" And it's like, guys, Trump is a populist. If you can get him to do good things, get him to fucking do good things. Don't write him off totally. Like, yeah, his presidency's ruined over this war in Iran, but like even the tariffs, if you look at it from like a cockeyed Trump way, like he was like trying to curb the fentanyl problem, and it's like kind of like people like talk to him about tariffs, and it's kind of like skewed how he's like, we're going to put tariffs on Canada till they stop the fentanyl problem. And then everybody in Canada's like, Canada doesn't have a fentanyl problem. And then they bust the biggest fucking fentanyl factory in Falkland, BC, this like dumb small town. Anyways, so Trump does a good thing, and everybody's super upset because apparently Joe Rogan's still a fan of Trump. And it's like, he's still the fucking president. And if you could get him to help the people to stop dying, maybe do that.
What's that pinch on quote about getting people to ask the wrong questions? Like, who gives a shit if he goes to see Trump? Everyone sucks, first of all, and we're gonna disagree about it. Trump doesn't do anything. He's a fucking puppet. He's an actor.
Oh yeah, the
But
president doesn't act, which
but
brings me to my next point, but I'll get
yeah,
to it after
ibogaine.
that.
I have a friend who just recently was telling me about his experiences with ibogaine, which sounded very, very unpleasant. Except he said it should cure him of his porn addiction. He said, "Yeah, I don't give a shit anymore." That's very interesting.
Did he take
But
it to cure himself of porn, or did he take it to go
I
to
don't know. I don't
psychedelic
know.
land?
I don't know. I don't know if that's why he went in and did it. But he just did it. He's a guy he's a bit of a he does yoga.
A
He's a
Fruit Loop, to coin a boomer term?
I guess like you might call him that, but he's a very handsome one. He's been to Esalen.
What's Esalen?
Esalen is a very famous sort of New Age retreat in California.
So famous, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, so famous you've never heard of it, but
That, by the way, doesn't mean it's not famous. It just means that I didn't.
yeah, no, you
That
just
Joe Rogan never talked about it, pretty much.
you live in a very small reality, but
I live in a manosphere silo.
But I
full of
mean,
men.
there's a lot about Esalen. I mean, a great deal about Esalen that's sus, as the kids say.
You know what? I
Um,
just want to side note. I got to say, Esalen is a very great name because it's very ambiguous and you don't know what it is when you're talking about it. It could be
mm.
a scientific corporation. It could be like a poverty thing. It could be like a fucking charity. You don't know what
It's
it is.
very, you know what, it's very sort of Cronenbergian, the whole Esalen thing,
Yeah.
or it's also very Pynchonian, I suppose.
Yeah.
It is a strange, seemingly utopian kind of retreat or institution that is mysteriously financed, by well, who knows what, but like you'd find Timothy Leary at Esalen, for instance. It was a crucible for that kind of yeah, psychedelic utopianism in the 70s and 80s, yogic utopianism. It's a headquarters of like new age thinking. And all of that stuff is very, very suspect. I think
Hmm.
some good does come out of it, but also, it's another aspect of the engineering that we're all subject to, I think. But yeah, he tried the ibogaine and came out of it handsome and unaddicted to porn.
Nice.
Uh,
I wonder,
but
like, I don't have any very pronounced addictions, so it'd be interesting to take ibogaine and just see what I stop doing.
maybe you'd stop potting.
Oh, probably.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
So
Save 1,115 people from ear torture.
we've only got a few minutes left here, but let's since you brought up Joe Rogan, we I think we should touch on his interview with John Fogerty because there was an extraordinary thing that happened during that interview.
Yeah.
And
I
I'm
didn't
trying to
watch
think,
it, so that you have to explain it to me and the listener.
well, so I didn't watch it either. I just watched this one clip.
Okay, I didn't even watch that clip, so
So
fresh
yeah,
ears here, baby.
John Fogerty, as we all know, very famously didn't really make a dime from Credence. Their financial history is among the worst in
It's
rock.
it's wild because I did listen to John Fogerty on Joe Rogan the first time he was on, like 5 years ago or something.
Yeah.
And John Fogerty said his brother fucked him out of all the money from Creedence Clearwater. And then when John Fogerty launched his solo career, his brother sued him because he sounded too much like himself.
No, I don't think his brother. Okay, I don't know about that. I know he was sued by Saul Zaentz of Factory Records, who was a very spooked up character.
Hmm.
Credence recorded for Fantasy Records. They never saw their money. According to John Fogerty on this most recent podcast with Joe Rogan, he says they were persuaded to put their money into an offshore bank, which was called Castle something, which it transpired was a CIA cutout,
Oh
and so
shit.
those funds were being used to finance covert clandestine operations, including they were staging anti-Castro operations
Oh
with
wow.
the money from Proud Mary, right? So this is where the money went.
Fucked.
And then the bank inevitably this will happen with these sorts of banks. They collapse and the money is all gone.
Oh yeah.
So this comes up, he talks about this bank, and then Joe says, "What's let's take a look at this," and it's right on the Wikipedia page. It's like, oh, they fleeced Credence among other famous people out of millions and used that money to stage clandestine operations. And Fogerty, it's weird because I mean I love CCR and I love John Fogerty. Uh, but I don't know. I don't know what he knows. And who knows what he can say, who knows? Who knows what he knows?
Yeah,
And
and if it's like,
he claims that he was like, this is the first I've heard of this, he
oh
says.
yeah, first he's heard of it.
But it's on
He has
Wikipedia.
all of his millions of dollars, or maybe his brother was the fall guy, but all of his millions of dollars are just gone, and he's destitute. But he wasn't. He was still like, I don't know, somehow rich and famous. And
Yeah, who
it all
knows? I
goes
don't know.
away, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know what happened. Apparently, the CIA took it and didn't break me off a piece just to keep me quiet," type of deal.
Yeah, like I said, there are good guys and bad guys everywhere, and I think you reach the level of success and fame that Credence enjoyed, and you do get compromised, you do get co-opted, you do learn things, and you learn to keep your mouth shut. Maybe it's as simple as that.
I
Um,
honestly don't think you get to be that famous without being compromised.
yeah,
Otherwise, they would just put the thumb on the scale and you wouldn't be famous.
that
Like,
yeah.
especially back then, there were so many gatekeepers. Like, they made Elton John as famous as he is with the voice, singing voice that he has. Like, sure, he's a great piano player and he's like, whatever, but he shouldn't have been as famous as he was. And
Hmm.
then you have like you find like these random small bands from the 70s who are just as good as the super popular guys, but they never got popular because nobody discovered them from a record label.
Yeah, the whole industry plant thing is real, and it's been going on
Yeah.
forever. And
And especially in like the 90s when you see how many musicians were like the sons and daughters of fucking military people.
yeah, yeah. It's a good thing that I got to go, and we should end it now because then we don't have to talk about Courtney Love.
Yeah, but if we do, maybe we'll get another 1,000 listens.
By the way, speaking of Grateful Dead, you know,
Hey, maybe we got 1,000 listens because we talked about Courtney Love a couple episodes ago.
did we talk about Courtney
Yeah,
Love?
we did. Of course we
Yeah,
did.
I don't
I
remember.
never miss up a chance to shit on Nirvana and that fucking boy band that was
Well,
made up.
I can leave you with one little little breadcrumb. I was talking to somebody who lives here on my island who worked with hmm, how can I say this without getting everyone?
Getting us another 1,000 downloads?
I'm just gonna put it this way. If you were to speculate that Dave Grohl was not the nicest guy in rock, as we've been repeatedly
Dude, I just sent you a
told,
video about that. About how there was this conspiracy that he was this like super nice guy, and then all of a sudden he has a kid out of wedlock, and you're like, wait, I thought he was like the fucking golden retriever of musicians. And
I
what
just
didn't get two people that were in his band killed, Kurt Cobain and his second drummer, after he made a movie about murdering his band members to make a deal with a demon. And after he admitted in his biography that he made a pact, like he pretended to call upon the devil to give him fame. And he's like, that's crazy. I made a seance like this when I was a 15-year-old kid, and I kind of guessed what it should be like and all this stuff. And then I asked the devil for fame. And then I never thought about it again. Isn't that weird? And you're like, yeah, crazy. It's not like they killed the guy from Nirvana and then just put you in the spot they wanted to take him from and made you super famous. That's not something that
Dude,
happened.
DC punks, man. I don't know. Again, I got questions,
Did you see that
but
video I sent
at
you?
least you can't. It's not like his he comes from a family or his father wrote scripts for or speeches for Ronald Reagan. It's not like the guy was in the belly of the beast. Yeah, no. I just got some independent confirmation about things I had
Oh, nice.
wondered about. It's
I
nice,
sent
I
you
live
like
I live in a place got a lot of refugees on this island. They have had big careers elsewhere and then gotten out and are
ooh,
sort of it's not like they're in hiding, but they're sort of cooling their jets out here in this
nice. I want to
slightly
come there
remote
and
place.
just podcast with everybody.
Yeah.
Um, and get them to say, I sent you a video on Facebook Messenger about a guy who was just going through this on a clip. That's the only reason I feel comfortable. Well, I wouldn't. Anyways,
It's out there. It's in the air. It's been in the
he's
air for a
saying
while. And
stuff
it's been in
like,
the air since Taylor Hawkins died.
yeah, Pat Smear, the guy
Yeah.
from Nirvana, he's from the Foo Fighters. He's a guitarist, but he's like this well-known partier drug guy. And
Yeah.
apparently he was introduced to Nirvana right when Kurt was getting off drugs. And
Yeah.
then they're saying that Kurt was realizing that he had handlers and stuff, so that's why he committed suicide after taking like 4 times the lethal dose of heroin and painted his ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on that note,
But it's 32 years later. We can finally talk about it, right?
I think so. I mean, I
That's
had lots of people talk
32
about it.
years ago.
Isn't that fucking
Fuck.
crazy? 32 years ago.
That is nuts.
Is that
1994 was
right?
32 years. Yeah, 1994, 32 years ago.
God damn.
Right? It's so
Well,
wild.
yeah. It hit me the other day. Norm Macdonald has been dead for 5 years.
What
Seems like yesterday.
the fuck? Dude, I swear to God, they launched COVID just to fuck with our fucking sense of time because time doesn't pass the same since we went through that lockdown. Like,
I'm
I don't
not
know if
gonna.
it's I'm
I'm
getting
not
older.
disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing.
Like 5 years ago feels like yesterday. Like they did a chunk of like 2 or 3 years where nothing happened. So now it's like the way my mind interprets time is fucked.
Was it? Yeah, there's no socially observable time has stopped. We are in one place always now. It's
Hmm.
just vibrating in one fucking position. And it's very, very uncomfortable.
And it's funny because it's like, okay, I'll let you go, I promise. But one of the weirdest things is like you usually represent the past in your mind by thinking about how tech has changed and how like our phones got different and more advanced and stuff. But now physical technology is not getting any better. In fact, it's taken a step back because they're having all these chip shortages, and the only thing that's changing is fucking AI.
Yeah,
So it's
no, there's no
like,
new tech. That's absolutely true. And if there is, well, there's 11 dead scientists who can't talk about it now.
that's true. And so is it like, did we reach the maximum output of our tech? And like, if you want to get woo-woo about it, every fucking computer has a quartz crystal in it, and that's how it times itself. Because like you send electricity to a quartz crystal and it vibrates, and that's how your fucking computer keeps time and how to like launch everything to itself. So maybe they've reached the top level of shit your quartz like crystal can do, so they can't make computers faster or whatever. Now they just have to like fucking build more computers and attach them together like on a giant server farm so that they can pretend that technology is still like growing at an increasing rate.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, it's all everything like everything is being banked. Like all the money is going into this one thing and it's being forced on us and it's not really any kind of innovation. It's
yeah,
just a much bigger version of what we already have. But also now it's, there's a like anti-human psychopathology coded into it.
yeah.
I
And
gotta go.
okay,
I got a bar to run, man.
yeah, you got interesting people to go talk to. Wish
Yeah,
my
but not like
job was
this.
wish my job was full of spooks and ex-CIA members instead of fucking 25-year-old dudes who live with their parents.
Dude, I had to kick a guy out last week because he called me a homo, and then I last night at fuck, we told some guy he couldn't park his motorcycle in front of the fire lane, so he gets all fucking mad and jumps on his fucking Harley and starts screaming, "You're a bunch of fucking communists!" And off he goes. Like,
Nice.
we're the Legion. We're not communists. I said that we're not communists as he was driving away.
Yeah. We're part of the military industrial complex.
So
Ancillary
crazy.
members, get
So
out of
crazy.
here.
There are a lot of crazy people here too.
He
A
called
lot
you
of
a
mental health
homo
issues.
and out in public like it's 19 fucking 96.
Yeah. Which was 30 years ago.
Did it make you feel young to be called a homo though? Secretly? You're like, I haven't been called a
Uh,
homo since the 2000s.
yeah, I guess. I don't know. I was like, I felt largely ambivalent about it, but my co-bartender was like, hey, don't call my gay bartender a homo. I thought it was funny.
Oh, you really? You think I am? The shirt hangs pretty well. I kind of like it. I didn't know I was pulling it off, but thank you.
And all I did was refuse service to a very intoxicated man. That's all I did.
That is pretty homosexual of you, Adrian.
I know, I know. Secret's out.
All right, let's end there, or we're not gonna end.
Yeah, okay.
We just gotta fucking cut it. I
Yeah,
could talk to you all day. Okay.
see
Bye,
ya.
everybody. Until next
Bye.
time, stay angry. One day I'm gonna get Adrian to say it. One day.
Stay
Angry.
angry.